Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today. And though you've come through many obstacles.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to My Hero Academia Season 5, Episode 14. So, last time we had Christmas, apparently. Just kind of another in-between episode, kind of bridging the gap between arcs, but at the same time getting us ready for whatever's about to happen. We got a little brief glimpse into, like a couple weeks ago or something, however long ago it was, where this dude was being all crazy. And we also found out that the, oh God, what are they called? Internships, I guess? They're going to be starting again. And this time they're required. And we found out that apparently Todoroki is inviting Bakugo and Deku to join him at Endeavor's agency. So that's going to be interesting to see how that all works out. But it makes sense. I mean, Endeavor's the number one hero currently, and with everything going on, it's like he would be the right person to work with, no matter like how he had used to be. And he is trying to better himself as a person too, so I think this will be good for all of them, for Deku and Bakugo in terms of improving on their skills and whatnot, but also for Todoroki just on a personal level. We'll have to see how it goes, though. So yeah, I'm excited to see what we got in store for us. So let's just get this going. When the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, first off, I watched the opening again, in between recording the reaction and these afterthoughts. I wanted to see the opening again, like really get a feel for it and check a couple things in it. First off, this opening and the song that accompanies it have a much darker feel than previous openings. Like, drastically so. There's also this group of people we haven't met yet in the opening, and I'm thinking that maybe they're this meta liberation army that is talked about in the episode. That's the only thing I can think of, because they really talked about that in this episode heavily. So I'm thinking that might be who these mysterious people are, and that might be a big focus going forward. And as I said, after I first saw it in the reaction and everything, this is easily the best opening we've had in a long time. And again, I want to make it clear, I did not dislike the openings for like the last couple seasons and all, but I really feel like the openings just haven't been as good generally. I'd have to go back through them all to fully like come to terms on which are my favorites and everything. Maybe I'll make a list for it. A countdown list for it. Can't really say it top 10 because has there been 10? I guess if we've had 2 each season and this is season 5, I guess there would be 10, wouldn't there? I don't know, I'd have to look that up, but either way. This is easily one of the best of the series and the best we've had in a long time, and I really like the tone that it seems to be going for, the darker tone, and that definitely excites me because I was hoping this series would eventually go into a more darker tone. It's definitely like had dark moments and themes and whatnot, but it's never really like gone all the way with that yet. So I'm really glad it seems to be possibly heading in that direction. At least I hope so. That being said, let's talk about the actual episode and its content. So I want to talk about one specific thing real quick here. Hawks goes to what I guess is supposed to be the Meta Liberation Army or something. That's what it kind of infers later on in the episode. But earlier in the episode, he goes to them, and Sliding Go is there, and he mentions that he outranks Hawk here. And we know obviously he doesn't outrank Hawk in terms of heroes because Hawk is the number two. So that definitely even adds a little more evidence to the fact that this is the Meta Liberation Army. And the fact that he's warning Endeavor about them at the end also lends to that. So I thought he was working with the League of Villains, though. Or, pretending to, undercover and everything. So why is he there? And that it's and about Sliding Go specifically. He was only introduced in the series last episode, so I feel like him being shown to be a member like this of these bad guys, it doesn't really have any kind of impact. I don't know if that's what they were trying to go for. I don't know if they were trying to like have some kind of if Horikoshi or the team in general were trying to the team in general. I don't know if he has a team who works with him. Probably a lot of mangaka do have like team of editors and whatnot. But anyways, I don't know if the plan was that this would be shocking or anything. But with the fact that Sliding Go was just introduced like right before this, it doesn't it's not necessarily it's not necessarily something I expected, but at the same time it just feels like, okay, so this character didn't have any build up and just he's just a secret bad guy. Okay, I don't know what it's trying to make you feel with that. I mean, if they chose like a more notable hero that we've known, like, I don't know, even Cementos or someone, I think it would have had a bigger impact. But with the fact that it's Slide and Go, it's just like, okay. So I don't know what the intention was there, obviously, but it felt like they were trying to have that as a surprise, and it just didn't work. Um, but this episode seems to focus on Deku and them starting their work study with Endeavor. And this is interesting because we have this quote unquote villain show up as they're starting their work study, heading out with Endeavor. And this guy can apparently absorb and control and manipulate glass. Like he's absorbing the glass from car windows, he's absorbing it from the windows of nearby buildings. And the way he's acting and the things you're doing make him seem like a villain, sure. Except for the things he's saying. He's warning the citizens. He's telling them to run. And not in a way, not in a like a cocky way, like, oh, I'm going to kill you all, you might as well run or anything. No, he's actually legitimately warning them. And in that regard as well, he seems to be talking about there being like an evil that he's trying to stop. And it almost kind of implies that it's maybe Endeavor. And I was really confused watching this, but thinking about it after the fact, could he be part of this liberation army, Meta Liberation Army, or whatever it's called again? What if that's their thing? But again, this was so heavily talked about in this episode. It was such a very heavy focus that I'm starting to think, what if he was part of that army? What if that's the point? What if that's what it's trying to show us by having this supposed villain come out, but not talking like a villain, very much trying to like save people, it seemed. What if that's the entire gist of the Metal Liberation Army? I'm just that's the only thing I can think of. Otherwise, it's like that it seemed like it was too like weird to just be some random villain who just like thinks like that everybody's in danger. But Hawks ends up coming in, helping out, and then gives these books about the Meta Liberation Army to Endeavor, as well as the three students, Deku, Bakugo, and Todoroki. And he gives a little coded message to Endeavor, which we find out he highlighted some bits in the book. And if you combine the second letter of each highlighted section, it spells out a message about the Meta Liberation Army being hundreds of thousands strong, and about them being the enemy and stuff. So really interesting. We get to the agency, Endeavor's agency, and we get to meet some of the sidekicks there, including this lady named Burnin. I think that was it. Let me try to find it here. Yeah, Burnin. And I've seen art of her before on social media. Though I don't think the art I've seen of her had green hair. So that's interesting. But yeah, I guess she's probably pretty popular. She has a fun design. I won't argue that. So going to be interesting if we're going to get to see more of her during this. We see that the agency is very busy, taking in like 100 requests each day and stuff. And it's definitely setting up a lot with this arc. Yeah, I'm trying to find like specific parts here. I can mute this. Like when Endeavor is reading and all. Because it's talking about the enemy is the Liberation Army. Over 100,000 strong. And that they're going to rise to action in 4 months. So this is definitely building up to something that's coming. And I definitely think those characters that we have yet to meet in the opening are possibly the Liberation Army. At least some of the members. Because there's obviously not over 100,000 people in there. But this is going to be interesting to see where this goes. This is definitely a lot of setup, but we're only really getting started in this arc. And so how is this going to connect with our students working with Endeavor and all? That's another question. I guess we'll find out. So tell me in the comments below what you thought of this episode of My Hero Academia, and thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.